Hey there, everyone out there in podcast land. Welcome back to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. You can tune in at LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. We are doing interview podcasts twice a week right now. We will be resuming, maybe by the time this comes out, we will be resuming the full-on music podcast as well. So you'll be looking at three podcasts a week. This is the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Today I've got a very cool act on the line, Fly Never Dies, and they've got a great song out called Love and the Stars, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's a really great track, and we're going to check it out later. In the meantime, let me get started. Let me thank my sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, Pittsburgh's first internet radio, TV network, online community magazine, and business directory. You can watch videos and receive emails and downloads with the latest audio created by the members of the community. There's articles, there's coupons, you can find businesses. You can even have your own magazine page. You can advertise on the front page. You can post coupons. There's all kinds of cool stuff to do there. So it's getting about 1 million views a month. So it's a very strong site, and it's a great place to go if you have some wares you would like to peddle. But so you want to check that out. That is Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, or pplmag.com for short. Now, the act that I've got, the band I've got on the line here is Fly Never Dies, a duo comprised of Jay, a.k.a. Trew Music Crockett, and Eric Haywood. The pair met in 2007 in Richmond, Virginia concert and began working on their first pair of collaborative albums under the guidance of the legendary hip-hop producer Ski Beats. The sessions resulted in 2 albums, 08's The Last Call and 09's The Morning After. After developing a small but dedicated regional following, the two took a self-imposed hiatus, only to start working together years later after various trips to California. So, all these trips to California lead to this great record, Love and the Stars. Hey guys, we've got Jay, a.k.a. Trew, and his business partner. Is it D?
D. Smith.
D. Smith on the line here. So, welcome, guys. How are you today?
Yeah, man, I'm fantastic, man. Lou, thanks for having us, man. We really appreciate it.
Sure, no problem.
Thanks.
No problem. So, Jay, do you prefer Trew or Jay?
You know what? I'm okay with either one as long as people listen to the music.
Okay, I got you. Okay, all right. So tell us what inspired you to get into music in the first place?
Wow. Well, ever since when I was younger, I can recall like going into the kitchen and my mom, just like cooking and listening to all different types of music, on 45s and everything. And we, I grew up in, the type of neighborhood and everything where everybody listened to everything from pop to hip hop, soul music. It didn't matter. So that really got me into it. And between that, I was also a music major as well too. So I've always had a love for music.
Oh wow! Where did you study music?
I went to school at Virginia State University. I was a drum major in high school and went to state, and I majored in the baritone horn.
Oh wow! So you're pretty. You've got like a pretty wide spectrum then of musical understanding and everything. And I can hear that. The tracks are very. They're kind of eclectic. They bring out a lot of different sounds. Tell us a little bit about the recording of your latest record.
Sure. Well, the whole Love and the Stars EP. Like as you said earlier, I met back up with Eric after kind of an imposed hiatus. I was doing just purely hip hop for a while, which was cool, but I had got to the point where I realized I want to start showing like all of the different types of elements of music I've learned. So I took a hiatus. I started doing advertisements and a couple of TV shows here and there. And then when I linked back up with Eric, we started traveling to Los Angeles and just writing. And there's something about that Los Angeles air and looking at the palm trees that just like really, really got us going.
Well, tell us. Well, what's the songwriting process then with you two guys? Like, how does it work? Does somebody start laying down a groove, or who comes with the lyrics? How does it work?
Oh, actually, yeah. It's either that or either I'll have a melody in my head and I will try to write it out and I'll send it to Eric, or I'll send it to my good friend Casey Shea, and just kind of get their feedback. And the great part about everybody that I've been working with is they're completely honest, which is not something you see too often in the music industry. But they gave great feedback and would say like, hey, yeah, this works. Let's try to go this direction with it.
Well, Casey Shea is a artist in his own right. How did you two get connected?
Well, I was touring with a band called Kid is Qual, which was it was started off of Jack's Mannequin, and one of the members from Jack's Mannequin started his own band, and we started touring, and then I met Casey in Brooklyn at same show we were doing, and I heard his music, and I thought it was incredible. And like that night, I went up to him and was just like, "Hey, man, we have to just start working on music together or something." And ever since then, it's just been, a really good blend. And he's also become a really good friend of mine as well.
Now, are you guys perform live at all, or is this just a strictly studio project?
No, this is definitely going to be a live project as well. I know, even though each one of us are in different states and everything right now, we definitely want to perform it live. We just we want to do different things with it. I don't want it to be like your usual hip hop show with somebody rapping and a whole bunch of hype men on stage, bringing in different band members that play different instruments, and even adding some turntables in there as well too. So we're actually looking at trying to do some shows starting this summer to kind of get going. Cool.
Well, let's go ahead and give everybody a taste of what you guys do. We're going to go ahead and play the track Love and the Stars, which is that's the title track off of your latest EP, and this does feature Casey on vocals. This is a really cool track. Guys, check it out. Love and the Stars, Fly Never Dies on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
Ticket, my flight, and I know I need to be with a girl like you who's liking me. And can you tell me more? Hey, more about you. Why do you do what you do when you do? Keep it cool, real cool like a breeze, cause she 32 degrees. And it beats like a drum, beat to the rhythm, heartbeat, we're one. And it beats like a bass, heartbeat race when I see your face. Love in the stars. One time for my girl in the stars. We are. I see you, girl. On the spot. Talk to him, Casey. For each other. Me and you, right? For each other. I see you, and you. Love in the stars. Sky high. It's all that we are. Sky high. When the stars collide, it's like a bang. When the stars collide, it's like a bang, then a flame. Stars collide, it's like a bang. When the stars collide, it's like a bang, then a flame. Dance, floor, sweat, can't take no more. Dance, floor, sweat, can't take no more. Pose, just pose. You belong somewhere in a Vogue, or could star in my TV show. Man, she's hot, the chemistry so cold. Been around the globe for a girl like you. Read the stars and the signs, you a dream come true. When we touch down long enough to reboot, we can take off again, on and on like a loop. Yeah. In the stars. One time for my girl in the stars. We are light in the dark. See you, girl. On the spot. Talk to him, Casey. Love in the
Okay, all right, cool song. Jay, tell us about that song. Like, how did you write it? What's the idea behind it? And how did Casey get involved with it?
Well, with this one, this was the majority. I got to give the credit was to Casey's idea. He said, I have a concept and I want to kind of send it to you to see what you think. And I heard it and fell in love with it and was like, okay, let's, you take your part in the direction you have, and I want to kind of add like a little spin to it to kind of, give it kind of like a little bit of a hip-hop edge, but not throughout the whole song, because the interesting thing, like, since we're in different states, like, when it comes to the songwriting, I feel like at times it has to be like a team, where, everybody can't be Jordan, you have to have one person be Jordan and somebody else has to be Pippen,
Well, when, what is, excuse me, I lost my train of thought here. I have a whole bunch of notes here on you guys. I'm like trying to decide what was going over next. Sorry about that. So that was primarily one of his idea. And now did you add, and then you just added the sort of the rapping, or he just sort of had like one part and then you added the second part? Is that how you guys did it?
Yeah, like, well, for that one, I heard, the idea, and I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and put a rap to this, and what we're going to go ahead and do as well, too, is, like, every so often in the song, we'll go ahead and change up the beat as well, too, to kind of give it, a little bit of a turn. So, if you're listening to it, it doesn't become too repetitive, and, you get, like, a cool hip-hop groove, and then it goes back in his groove,
Do you guys ever feel like, because the tracks are bringing so many different things, and this really has, I think that you're definitely tracked for, like, could be like good, serious pop success with this. But does any, like, your friends or anybody like kind of like gets down on you for not being more like true hip hop or true rap?
You know what? That was actually going to be one of my concerns when I first started out. Like, oh, is everybody going to think like I'm trying to, make a purposely like pop album? But I think people are hearing it, and even my closest friends, they're like, you know what? This makes sense. This is you, because I was the guy in school who, carried his baritone on the school bus and was using the case and was, hitting everybody in their knees. I was trying to get on the bus. So when, my closest friends hear it, they're like, yeah, this makes sense.
So you already have a pretty wide, and from what you described about growing up, you already had a lot of interests in music. It wasn't just rap. That's just part of what you do.
Exactly.
Exactly. One of my favorite songs, though, on the EP is this really cool track. It is primarily rap, I think, called "My T-Shirt."
Okay.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah. Just tell us a little bit about that song.
Yeah. Well, My T-Shirt. I was listening to a lot of different music at that time as well too. Listening to a lot of jazz, and what I did, a good friend of mine, Dan Edinberg, who was in a group called is in a group called the Step Kids. I feel like he's a good friend. That's like, might as well say he's a musical genius. I was explaining to him an idea I had for a song, and the really cool thing is, like, not a lot of people know, on that track, Dan plays every instrument on it. There's no samples or anything. He actually played everything on it.
Oh,
from the guitar to everything. Yeah, so, it's like I was able to actually tell him what I heard in my head as far as that song, and he translated it musically.
Well, it's not just Jay and Eric and Casey. There's a lot of other people on the record. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about who's all on the record and how they what they did.
Sure. Well, like I said, Dan, he's on the project as well too. He, like I said, he's with the Step Kids, and he's like an incredible producer, songwriter as well too. And he actually just got finished doing a remix for Nick Jonas, so we're like super proud of him as well too. And another friend of mine, DC Soul Plus Mine, he's a musician out in Los Angeles as well too. And so that was all of us. That's how we put the project together. So I was kind of like, I guess I was kind of like the thread between all of it, that kind of, pulled in everybody from the different genres, but to try to keep it together.
You've been a musician, you've been in the business for a while now. And what's like the biggest lesson that you've learned that maybe you could pass on to maybe the people that are out there who are maybe just thinking about getting into this?
I would say to be yourself and don't worry about what everyone is going to say, because I think that was probably my biggest fault for the longest time, because even though I love doing hip-hop, I wanted to expand and do something like this earlier, but I was a little bit nervous about doing it because I didn't think people would understand or, get it. But already, this is so far one of the most purchased projects and downloads that I've had already, and we're only like a week into the project. So the best thing is just to be you.
That's great. That's great advice, Jay. Now tell us now you said you're probably guys are going to be looking at playing out this summer. Are you guys writing all the time? So we maybe looking at maybe another record in another year or so, like maybe in 2017, or what does it like the next year look like?
Well, I'm actually looking at trying to do something maybe within the next couple of months. A good friend of mine, Wordsworth, who he actually used to have a show on MTV called The Lyricist Lounge. He always tells me, always have your next project going as soon as you finish the first one, just so you can have the creative juices going. So, I mean, we released this EP, but, D, how many songs do you think we probably recorded and have for this project? What are you thinking about? What, 12, 13?
We have close to a dozen songs, close to a dozen songs recorded.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this then. That's a good question, because that brings up another point, because it's an EP. And you said you probably had like a dozen songs. Why not do a full-length record? Because there's a lot of artists that I interview a lot of people that have got EP, that's their thing. So what was the thinking there?
Well, just from speaking to a lot of people that I know in the music industry as well, and like seeing how the kind of the new movement is going, it seems like the majority of people seem to want an EP instead of a full album. So it's almost like you're not giving them a full record anymore, but you're breaking it up kind of like throughout the year. So I personally would rather do a full album because I love the creative process of going in and giving you, a full movement or a full product. But the side of it is like, music is also a business, and you have to kind of be smart about it as well. And, if people want to hear an abbreviated project, then I feel like that's what you need to give them in the meantime for right now.
All right. Okay. All right. So what, go ahead. Speaking of giving it to the folks, tell everybody at home how they can find the record online and how they can follow what you guys have going on.
Sure. Well, you can go to flyneverdies.com, which right now brings you back to our Bandcamp page, but for the time being, flyneverdies.com, and you can download the project either for free. All you need to do is put in your email, or you can make a small donation, which goes right back into more recording. So,
That is, if you guys go to flyneverdies.com, that just takes you right to their Bandcamp page where you can do all that stuff right there, and you can follow them and keep up with everything. And plus, you guys are on Facebook as well. It's facebook.com/flyneverdies. Dee, do you want to add anything?
I think you guys have really touched everything. I just appreciate you having us, man.
Okay. All right. I just want to see. Is there anything, Jay? Is there anything else you want to let anybody else out there know about or talk about before we roll out of here?
I just want to thank everybody for their support, because, like I said, it's already one of our most downloaded and purchased projects already. So I just want to thank everyone, and I want to thank you as well, Lou, for having us, because I've been checking out the show and everything as well too, man. You're doing an incredible job. So much respect to you as well.
All right. Thank you very much. If you could hang on 1 second, we're going to do a bonus question, but that's only for subscribers, so they don't get to hear it on the regular podcast. So just hang on a second. I'm going to wrap up the official show, and we're going to come back and do it. But you got a minute? You got maybe 5 minutes?
Of course, no problem at all.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot, Jay. Guys, you've been listening to Fly Never Dies. That's flyneverdies.com, and that's, like I said, it takes you right to their Bandcamp page. And you can make the donation. You can listen to the record. It's fantastic. It's an EP, but it's very, very good. Every song is a winner. You definitely want to check it out. You are listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. My name is Lou Lombardi. I'd like to thank my sponsor one more time, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, pplmag.com. If you believe in the kind of music that Jay and Eric are making, if you believe in great independent music, the music that's not getting played on the radio, then please go to supportindierock.com, or you can get involved in some of the different projects that we are getting ready to launch to give even more to these artists and get their name out there to get them some more promotion. Guys, you're listening to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. That is LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. And check out the website. And there are always new podcasts, like I said, about 2 times a week now. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.